Citizens of Wisconsin, we are just talking about the governor's budget for the next 2 years, years 17 and 19. And the governor came out today with a very positive message. He said we're in a much better place than we've been since the last budget, and we are growing our economy. It's the lowest unemployment that we've had, and historically we have the highest number of people working in Wisconsin, and we have a surplus, which is a tremendous feat after our devastating budgets in the past. But you know what? We're looking at a bright future for Wisconsin. We're trending in the right direction. But a lot of this is due to the reforms that we've implemented, the tough decisions we made in past budgets, and the sort of a reform dividend that we're able to invest in our priorities. And our priorities with the governor clearly are K-12 education and to reform the way that government does its work and also to make work pay in Wisconsin. So if you look at his investment in the children to succeed, he made a huge investment in K-12 education, which for some people is their #1 priority. It is for me. And also he made a big investment in higher ed, which for our UW system is really a priority. I have a lot of Badgers and a lot of UW fans in my district who really love their alma maters, whether it's La Crosse or Eau Claire or UW or UWM. They really want their universities to be supported, and the governor did that. The governor also said he will give a tax cut to our middle-class families, working families, which is really important right now. And also he's holding the property tax to 2010 levels, which is extremely important. And in that good view of how we're doing in Wisconsin, there are a lot of other value-added projects. But what I must say is we're going to have to look at the level of spending in this budget, because while this was a good budget for us and our revenues are up and trending up, you can't count on what the global marketplace is going to bring us or what tomorrow's going to bring us. So I think we're going to have to be very conservative about how we deal with spending and deal with the future. And what I'd like to say is we are putting together a really good finance committee, 16 people, 4 Democrats and 12 Republicans, half from the Assembly, half from the Senate. And what we'll do is we'll ask our Legislative Fiscal Bureau to do papers on the governor's budget, and he'll give us our numbers because he's nonpartisan and he works just for us. So that'll be great. And we'll dig into some of the controversial issues. What the controversial issues, I think, will be self-insurance for health care for state employees. We have one of the best health care systems in our state, and for a state delivery system, it's one of the most cost-effective. We've had 3% increases over the last 4 years, which is pretty phenomenal when you think of the ages of health care, when you're lucky to be able to even get it, with Obamacare messing up a lot of our health care. But for our state to have a health care program that is high quality, high access, to have a 3% increase is tremendous, and the co-payments are reasonable too. But the governor wants to have a self-insurance program because he thinks we could get even better results. So we're going to study that one hard, because I guess the question is, how can we do better? We can do better, but are we at risk in this uncertain healthcare environment to throw the baby out with the bathwater? So we're going to be very cautious about that. Another issue that we're going to be debating is the tuition cut that the governor put in. While, yeah, we'd love to give a tuition cut, the question is, most of our students are saying, look, our tuition is one of the lowest in the Big Ten, and certainty is very important to us. And we'd like to know what my tuition is going to be, not only my freshman year, but maybe my juniors and senior year as well. And if we cut the tuition now, are we going to be able to backfill it as the governor did in this budget? Will we have the revenues to do that in the future? And that will be hotly debated. But probably the biggest debate will be transportation. And those of us who live in southeastern Wisconsin have gone through the trials and tribulations of the Marquette interchange, which came in on time and under budget, and we're going through the zoo interchange, and that has been a real tough task for southeastern Wisconsin. But you know, so much of the traffic of the whole state goes through the zoo interchange, and what's going to be debated is, will all the legs be done, or will some of them be delayed? And that will be a part of our discussion. And you know, we also have an audit on transportation, asking the Audit Bureau of the state, nonpartisan, to give us a look at how cost efficient and effective is our department? Can we do things better? And so we need to dig into that audit and say, let's challenge ourselves and do things better, not only for safety and commerce, but also for the taxpayer. So transportation is going to be a very tough issue, because the issue is are our resources enough? Should we delay projects? Should we raise the gas tax or other fees? And many of us feel like we have to have the debate on the total budget and talk about efficiencies before we talk about increasing revenues. And the governor's put a line in the sand, which I think is reasonable. They said if you make an increase in a fee or tax, then you have to make a corresponding decrease in some other areas. And I think that's a fair challenge. So the question is, what are we going to do about the sustainability of our challenging transportation plan? You know, some people, we just had some people in from the Council of State Government, and they said that they think our roads are one of the best systems. That roads are a part of the best system in the country, but a lot of us don't feel that way when we drive 94 to Chicago, or we do Highway 94 to Madison. We feel that our roads are not in that kind of shape. And if we live in rural areas or in suburbs, a lot of us are saying, you know, our maintenance isn't as great as it could be. So this debate is going to be really a tough one, what we do with transportation to make it sustainable. So those are going to be the challenges, and I welcome your input into this debate. We're going to be doing town hall meetings, and we're going to be doing, I hope, town hall meetings, which are talking to you on the telephone. So I hope that you could call in and be a part of that dialogue. We're going to be doing surveys, but you know what? Don't hesitate to call or email and give us your opinions on these very critical issues. But I think the good news is, and the optimism is, Wisconsin is in a much better position than it was 2 years ago. And a lot of that is due to the management of how the government is running itself, but also to our hardworking private sector who's worked really hard to make a viable future for your families and for your companies. So we want to do what we can to keep government spending in line, to reduce unwanted and unuseful regulation, and to make our state the best place to live, work, and play. We can't change the weather, but when people talk about Wisconsin, they talk about the great quality of life we have, great schools, great caring communities, great natural assets. So I'm very proud to represent you as your state senator. I'm very proud to have your ideas as we go forward to work on this next budget for 2 years. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.